there's no guarantee you're actually going to capture the laser directly on the corner of a surface. You wouldn't want it to anyway, because it will split the laser. So what you tend to get is it hits either side of the surface, and with the point sense tools, what it does is project the two surfaces to the intersection, so you're constantly selecting the corner whenever you draw. It's the same tools inside Revit that are inside AutoCAD there. Yeah, the video on this is curve extraction, but obviously not relevant to you guys, but the same sort of thing. You've also got mixed reality, so if you were doing a store fit out, you can actually mix the CAD geometry and point cloud together. So inside here, the background is scan data. You can tell by the bleach in the photo there. And then you just overlay the CAD geometry through the point cloud. So you can actually show what it's going to look like beforehand. You can do the same thing with actual walls and have the whole thing fully fitted out. So you can also run various class detections. This is where we kind of fit inside the whole BIM environment now. So most people now are working on BIM projects being told to scan throughout the entire construction phase. So scanning every day really. And then once you've got that scan data, you can then start isolating parts of the scan. So on this, I think they're doing the MEP. They'll take the MEP, turn the MEP off in the CAD model, put the two together and class detect it to see whether it's in the right location. If it's not, you can update the CAD model early on, rather than having to jiggle it around on site. And then, because you scan throughout the entire construction phase, you can actually create little videos like this, which show you full fit outs at different locations. Which looks cool, but actually has some benefits to it as well. So if we scan this before they put all the panelling up, you can actually see all the services that are running through it. Now once it's up, if I told you to tell me where the pipes are, you wouldn't know, but I can just turn the layer off and find out where they are in the building. So having that data is actually quite handy as well. I'll wait for you with this. Some CFD stuff you can run through sort of point clouds. Anyway. You can actually gamify stuff. So this is all kind of scan data, which you might not seem like much, but I was with Gran Turismo the other week. They use our scan data to map all the roads and stuff like that in the game. So it's all that sort of stuff. There we go. And then yeah, you can then start creating sort of all the bits of there. So the project that I showed you a minute ago purposely fit because we've got that's the same environment. It took about 20 minutes to create. But yeah, you can just turn it into a gaming project.
There's the mattress.
I think we put it. There it is. They obviously didn't see my snagging there. But again, that's a nutshell of scanning.
Thank you, Dave. You guys, yeah. Okay, so hi everybody, my name's Gemma Whittaker. I'm a construction and engineering lawyer, I work with Sarah, and I've got particular interest in how smart cities have got the potential to kind of transform our towns and cities. I've also done a lot of work with retailers on various different types of projects, including trying to modernise logistics operations using automation. Richard Smith is going to speak with me. He's a specialist commercial contracts and IT lawyer, and he's worked with some major retailers on some modernisation projects around how they can modernise their routes to market. We're going to talk about what we mean when we talk about smart cities and how we see retailers fitting in to smart cities and benefiting from them. Richard's going to share some of his recent experiences and observations regarding tech innovations within the retail sector specifically. The buzz about smart cities is really showing no signs of abating. And last month we had Sadiq Khan setting out his vision for how he thought London could become the world's leading smart city. And there are many different advanced smart city projects around the country. But what exactly do we mean when we talk about smart city? So it means many things to many people, but one of the key definitions that have been set out in one of those PAS documents that Sarah talked about earlier, that has been set out by BSI, is that smart city denotes the integration of physical, digital and human systems in the built environment to deliver a sustainable, prosperous and inclusive future for its citizens. This all sounds very nice, but what does that actually mean in practice? One of the good examples we can look at to see how this is working in practice is Bristol. And they've got a really active smart cities programme at the moment. They've created an Internet of Things mesh. So if you think about maybe a scaled up version of a Hive or a Nest system that you might have in your own home, where lighting, heating, washing machine and TV might all be connected to the same wireless control system. In a city context, that's then translated into lampposts, traffic lights, waste bins, all installed with sensors and connected to the same central management platform. So they can collect data about usage and other environmental factors, and then use that data to kind of control more intelligent street lighting, waste collections, and traffic management, including automated decision making. So at its core, the smart city is really about harnessing digital connectivity, the Internet of Things, and access to data to join up the key city assets and infrastructure and make it work more intelligently and efficiently. It's primarily driven by national and local government, as they see it as a way of delivering public services in a more intelligent and efficient way. But we can see various opportunities for private businesses, particularly retail businesses, including retail centre anchors such as John Lewis, who might be in a position to influence city planning and decision making in some ways. And we see that falling into two key areas. So the first being the use of data. There's an absolute wealth of data being generated in any smart city project all the time. So whether that's about traffic flows, volume and movement of people, the health of the surrounding infrastructure. And all of that can obviously be valuable for the local authority, people managing local and public services, but it's also a source of potential information for businesses. So if retailers can find a way of accessing that information and making intelligent use of it, then there are various different applications that it could be put to. So information about a store's geospatial context in a city as a whole, the number of customers surrounding a store at different times, their detailed demographics, average length of shop over a series of visits, and the regularity of return is all the type of information that you might be able to get from smart city infrastructure. And that could then be used to inform decisions about estate planning, acquisitions and disposals, store location and design, where's the best place for entrances and exits, analysis of store success, and the timing of marketing promotions. And it can also potentially feed into security decisions. So if in your smart city, the local authority is using sensors to identify large groups forming so that law enforcement can respond quickly, then retailers could also make use of that information to make sure that there are enough staff members available to deter shoplifting. And accessing that information might not be as difficult as you might expect. So one of the key principles of smart cities is the open sharing of data for the public benefit. What you can see on the left there is Bristol's data dome, and that's a location for visualisations of data that's been generated by smart city infrastructure. The public can go there and see visualisations of that data, which is the picture you can see on the right. And in particular, Glasgow's Future City project's already sharing this type of information with retailers. So they've generated what they're calling their busyness index, where they've generated and collected traffic signal data, footfall sensor data, transport and taxi information, to try and make sense of people's whereabouts throughout the city. The aim is then to create events which will attract people to the city without impacting negatively on local businesses. And so they're using that information, along with predictive analytics, to give retailers the opportunity to order extra stock or offer discounts. So retailers are cooperating in return with that initiative, with the knowledge of providing their own data, with the knowledge that the more accurate the data and the analytics, the more benefit all retailers in the city can achieve. The other key area that we can see is in retailers making their online and physical presence an integrated part of the smart city infrastructure. So you might already have smart billboards where gender and age of passers-by can be identified to trigger targeted ads, but those can be updated in real time to take in information from social media or to do with local events. So sportswear might be displayed if a big sporting event is taking place nearby. And using outdoor advertising can also be used to direct people to certain events and services and venues in the local area, using the least congested route, drawing information about traffic flows and pedestrian walking flows. So there could be opportunities to sponsor or partner with businesses, providing those services to generate advertising opportunities, either in connection with particular events or promotions, or generally to drive footfall to particular stores. And the Milton Keynes Smart City project is also using parking sensors to allow drivers to reserve a space via a smartphone app. So that offers a valuable user service that retailers who are anchor tenants who might have their own car parks could also offer. It also gives the local authority, or in that case a retailer, the opportunity to get further information about their customers and length of stay. So engagement in smart cities for retailers is going to be significantly about how you can make use of the data and smart city infrastructure to convert passers-by into customers. And Richard's going to talk a little bit more about in-store what retailers have been doing and the trends that he's been seeing.
Okay, I'm going to turn a 10-minute presentation into 2 minutes, but very quickly I'm going to gloss over some of the points. I won't go into choice and convenience, but let me just focus on customer for a moment. One of the most interesting projects I've worked on over the past 12 to 18 months was the Argos digital stores, which were implants within Sainsbury's stores. What held up that project was not the legals, I'm pleased to report, but the designers, because what it presented the designers was a real challenge on how to put two very different brands and make them coexist under one roof and represent a fairly clear message to the customers coming in, as well as trying to get that footfall through the stores, and as well as trying to increase sales for both Argos and for Sainsbury's. And I don't think we've seen the end of that. Well, the Argos-Sainsbury's deal is a good example of not only where it was a benefit to both businesses, but Sainsbury's thought it was such a benefit that they ended up subsequently acquiring Argos. But I think we're going to see more and more of that on the market, especially where, from a retail sector, where retailers have got space and trying to use, like I know Joe the Juice, for example, is one of the ones that's within John Lewis, but I think we're going to see more and more of that, especially in the department stores and wider supermarkets where people can see the benefits of footfall. I won't go through all of this because of time, but one of the things I think bricks and mortar is definitely here to stay, and I'm pleased to report that because my Saturdays are spent, with my wife and child shopping, I can probably tell, and eating. But on the bricks and mortar front, I think there's something to watch out for here as both the store designers and, key retailers, and that is the surprise of pure plays who are now hitting the high street. Look at Misguided. What Misguided did by taking concessions in Selfridges and now major parts in Westfield, Stratford. I think they're elsewhere because I've had to visit one, unfortunately. These are definitely, seeing the advantage of taking up space on the high street. And when I say high street, I also mean, out of town as well. But the big issue, I think, is how to fuse together, not just from a technology perspective, but also a customer service perspective, what the customer wants, because you don't want it to become just a place to go and return and collect your goods. You actually want it to increase sales. But I think that's a big surprise, and it's one that's keeping Topshop and Zara very much awake at night. Just in terms of technology, I was here to talk about technology. I haven't got the fantastic videos that you've seen, But the one thing is all of these should be on your list of things to think about. So